All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are about to begin our meeting, but before we do, I am going to stand and have a moment of silence, which I will follow with a pledge of allegiance to our flag, and any of you who would like to join me are certainly welcome to do so. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we'll go ahead and call to order the November 15th Sumner County School Board meeting. Mr. Johnson, have you taken the roll? For the record, we'll reflect that all members are present with the exception of Mr. Daniels. First item on our agenda is adoption of the consent agenda. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Ms. Cox, a second by Mr. Duncan. Any discussion on the consent agenda? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? All right, we'll show that pass. Next item, adoption of the regular agenda. Is there a motion? Motion by Mr. Gregory. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Brown. Any discussion on that? We will be changing one item. We're going to approve our minutes, and then we have reason to go into executive session, and we'll do that immediately following the approval of our minutes. So with that one noted change to our agenda, is there anything else? All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? All right, we've adopted the agenda. Next is approval of the minutes. First up, minutes of the October 4th special called meeting. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Ms. Cox. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Brewer. Mr. Wise?
I don't know if the minutes show, but I'll need to abstain on the approval of the minutes on the special call for the 4th, I think, because I was absent that meeting.
All right, thank you, Mr. Wise. Anyone else? All right, all in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? We'll show that passed with Mr. Wise's abstention. Next, minutes of the October 18th regular meeting. Is there a motion? Motion by Mr. Wise. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Duncan. Any discussion on those minutes? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? All right, we've adopted those. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to stand in recess for a moment while we go into executive session. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we will call our meeting back to order. Next item on our agenda is recognition and hearing of delegations. First up is Dr. Walls. Dr. Walls, if you would come to the podium, press the silver button in the middle of the base of the microphone and give us your name and address for the record, and you will have 5 minutes.
To Chairman Long, the board of members of the board, and to Dr. Phillips. My name is Elzenia Walls. I live at 349 Remington Avenue in Gallatin, Tennessee. I am a career and technical education teacher at Station Camp High School, and I am the president of the Sumner County Education Association, which is an organization that is comprised of local educators who are also employees of the Sumner County Board of Education. I have been an educator for 34 years, 7 of which have been in Sumner County, and I have seen many changes that have taken place. Some have been good, some not so good. But as I reflect back on the first few months of this school year, I was reminded of the many obstacles and challenges we faced as educators in Sumner County, while all while trying to embrace a new evaluation system, the new tenure law, and budget cuts. Knowing this, I was very concerned with the effect it would have on our education system here in Sumner County, mainly the impact that it would have on our students. As I continue reflecting on this, I was reminded of the commitment that I made to education, and that was to positively influence as many young people as I possibly could on a daily basis. This, more than anything else, kept me focused, knowing that it is the students who matter the most. For that reason, I feel that we must work together to foster change that would be beneficial to all concerned, especially our students. We have all benefited from having teachers who cared enough about us to stay in the profession, putting students first, standing up for rights, and speaking out about issues that mattered most. It made a difference then, and it can still make a difference now. It's about our children. Sumner County is fortunate to have a cadre of educators that are highly qualified to do the job that they've been hired to do. They are being overwhelmed, though, with the pressure of an evaluation system that is frustrating and adding undue stress. This is disheartening. But unlike many other professions, teaching is a career educators feel that they are called to do. It is not a career that brings monetary rewards, but it is a career where the rewards of knowing that you have touched the lives of young people who will go on to become great leaders. They become lawyers, doctors, philosophers, and yes, some even teachers. In a school environment where teachers are anxious and worried and feeling overwhelmed, will lead to teacher burnout, low morale, that will create a negative school environment for our students. In the New York Times, Tackett said, and I quote, "The new state policies have everyone put under stress. They are divisive and squeezes the life out of the building. What I need to make my people better is pretty simple. It is everyone to be happy. If they're happy, they do a better job." Mr. Tackett wants them to be happy, but I say keeping employees motivated and relaxed is a good way to keep schools a productive place for teaching and learning to take place. Without the right atmosphere, employees might feel down, feel depressed, and oppressed. This is why it's important to eliminate as many obstacles in the way of workers so they can positively impact the people they serve. In education, it's our students. Though problems will continue to exist, there are always positive solutions to bring hope and success. It starts with all stakeholders working together to build goodwill and better relationships. On behalf of the educators in Sumner County, I want to thank you for allowing me to speak with you tonight, but I also wanted to share with you, and I won't go through each one of these concerns because I know your calendar is quite long and we've been here for an hour already, but I would like to share this with the board, some of the concerns that teachers have expressed to me and to others
Dr.
in
Walsh,
the
excuse me
county.
just a moment. That's 5 minutes. Is there a motion to extend time? I have a motion by Mr. Wise. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Gregory. All in favor of extending for 3 minutes, signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Go ahead, Dr. Walls.
I don't need much time. The information that I have, I'm sure you can read it on your own, but most of it is about the evaluation system and how, and the effect that it's having on the teachers of spending a lot of time uh, preparing to have administrators come in the classroom. Another issue is that there was one individual that is a math teacher and his scores are affected. And he's been trying to get in touch with someone to answer his questions about his concern since those test scores are part of his evaluation. He has not been able to get someone to call him back on that. But the other issues, and they're all issues that I'm sure you probably cannot resolve tonight, but it's just some concerns that teachers have, and they asked me if I would share this with you, and I just want to give you a copy of those. And if at some point you want to call us and get a little bit more information or share your concerns about this or your solutions to this, we would appreciate that as well. And I do want to thank you for your time and allowing us to be part of this venue, to be able to express ourselves and how we feel and what we would like to see. And that is all of the entities that has to do with this educational system working together. And I thank you. Can I give these to you? Okay.
Ms. Johnson, if you would, pass those out. Next on our agenda is the Delta Club. Mr. Duncan, I believe that's something you'd asked for?
Thank you. I asked some of these young men and young women to come tonight simply because most young people have been classified as drug addicts and hoodlums and whatsoever. But we have a lot of young people in our community that I'm working with, and these young people are working with. They go into school, they're trying to get young people off the street. They've got a lot of young people in college. They're still working all over this county and other counties also. They've been to several other counties and some other states, encouraging young people to stay in school and get in school. So I asked them to come tonight to let you know that all young people that's out there are doing something positive and they are not all out doing something wrong. So I just asked them to come tonight. This is one of the leaders of the group. This young man, a member of my church, sang in the choir, and he's doing better since I've been on him. So,
Mr. Duncan, I don't know if I'd get on him too much.
great. Let's just give them just a few minutes to tell you what they do, and it'll be good.
Oh, good afternoon, Sumter County. My name is Tyron Robinson. I stay at 1590 Airport Road, apartment 113, Gallatin, Tennessee. First of all, I would like to thank the Board of Education for letting me speak about something I'm really passionate about. Club Delta High School Mentoring Program. Our mission at Club Delta is allow young high school men and women the opportunity to prepare themselves for the next level of education through discipline, responsibility, and organization with the intentions of developing successful college-bound men and women. Mentoring is enormous value to the youth development. Our mentoring program helps a young person develop increased self-esteem and self-confidence. We help the youth set positive goals, enhance their feelings of identity, and result in better relationships and decision-making. With us placing positive role models in the youth, they are less likely to join gangs. What we need to do as a community, we need to provide our youth with positive alternatives because it is so easy for our youth these days to go down the wrong path. Something we got to realize: children only do what they know. So if they don't know no better, how can we expect them to do better? With our program, we want to give the youth everything they deserve. One of the activities we take pride in is taking our youth to the colleges in this area. With these college trips, we're getting the kids excited about not only going to college, but actually graduating college. Now we set the goals for them. Now we need to show them how to get there. We educate them on how to fill out college applications, how to apply for scholarships, and most importantly, get financial aid. If anybody want to help out or have children that want to enroll in our program, we meet every Thursday at the Sloan Zone, and we start at 6 o'clock. I bought a couple, one of my kids and one of my mentors to talk.
My name is Bianca Wiggins, and I'm in Club Delta. Club Delta has changed my life. They have taught me how to stay out of fights because if somebody talk about me, then I'm even just to go try to fight them. They have always helped me keep my grades up and instead of going down. They have changed my life for the better by helping me stay out of trouble and make sure I'm doing good in school. If it wasn't for Club Delta, I'd still be the same person I was, and I thank them for that. They're caring and supporting people, and that's how Club Delta changed my whole life around.
Well, well, my name is Ronnie Sweat. Well, I'm gonna wrap it up for you. You know what I'm saying? The grade point average that we do, you know what I'm saying, do attain in school is a 2.5 grade point average. You know, and everybody do need a second chance in life. All kids is not bad. And when we talk to a mentor them, we tell them the right way to go. And not only that, it don't matter what race you is. It's any race can be in it. So if if that's up to y'all, or you know what I'm saying, anybody wants to get in it, we welcome. That's all I gotta say. Thank y'all.
I don't think it's young people. This is not all of them. It's a whole group of them, and I've been trying to recruit these some of the young people, meeting with them at my churches in different places, because I feel like that that's our future generation that's coming along. And if we don't do something to salvage our young people now, we're going to finally lose a whole generation. And we can just see it, reading the newspaper day by day, looking on television day by day, what's going on in Nashville and around other counties with the gangs and all. So this is what we're trying to do. I'm trying to get out there on the street, work with drug addicts or whatever it is out there on the street, day and night, trying to help some of these young people. Appreciate you all letting them come tonight just to let you know what some of our young people are trying to do. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Duncan, thank you. Guys, that sounds like an excellent program, and thank you for the service you're giving back to Sumner County. Thank you. All right, we're going to move on with our meeting.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Wise?
can I make a comment? Don't leave, Biggin. You, you, you three stand up just a minute for me, please. Stand up. Go ahead, young lady. Stand up. Wherever you are. I commend you. You may not know the impact in the next 2 days, 3 days, 2 years, but when your hair turns white and one of your friends comes to you and thanks you for what you did 30 years ago for them, then you'll know. I appreciate you. I commend you. Matter of fact, I want to applaud you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Wise. All right, let's move on with our meeting under unfinished business. Item A, discussion and/or action regarding employee retirement. Dr. Phillips?
These are all of the items that were on the study session. This item A was deferred to the study session from the previous voting session. It, to my understanding, is the exact same language that we had presented originally. We talked about it at the study session, brought forward data. We're back with the original exact document, which is, as we discussed, the same exact retirement package that was approved for the previous 2 years for our teachers wishing to retire.
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. Cox, second by Mr. Hale. Any discussion? All right, Mr. Gregory?
I was the one that amended the original one. Part 3 on the second policy there. And it said if an employee's position is eliminated as part of a reduction in force and the employee is eligible, I didn't intend for this to be complicated. I really didn't. I thought it'd be pretty simple, but sometimes things are not. That they would be able to receive their benefits if there was if their position was eliminated as a part of reduction because of budgetary issues. And also it was a safety net, a connector in between if they had all other. See, I think there's been a lot of confusion about everything's the same except someone has qualified. They have all the criteria. but there may be a connection that needs to be made in between, say, age 63 and 65. And that's the part that I would like to be included and in our and it's only for those employees that would be reduction in force. If they choose to move on their own, then it would not be included. If they choose, it'd be the ones who were reduction in force. As I mentioned the last time, there were none of the employees who fell into that category this year who would have qualified.
Dr. Phillips, did you
I
have
would,
something?
yeah, we brought back the issue with the gap years and the cost that would incur, and I don't think we can recommend to do that at this point administratively. Second thing, I think reduction in force is problematic, because if you have someone retire, they could say, well, I was forced to retire and all sorts of things. Really, if an individual is eligible for the retirement package, regardless of how they exit, they're still gonna be able to draw the same retirement benefits. So I think that's I don't see the connection necessarily there.
All right, thank you, Dr. Phillips. Ms. Silkwood?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I guess and I probably should have brought this up at study session, I apologize, but I guess I'm just a little bit confused as to why we are incentivizing employees to retire before they're eligible for Medicare at age 65. To me, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to incentivize early retirement, and then that creates an increased burden on the general purpose budget for our school system. I communicated a little bit with our interim finance director today, Jim Young, and that we pay out of this year's budget will be $1.6 million just in retiree benefits. So I feel like it should be something that we look at in an individual year-by-year basis, where we decide as a board whether or not we can create a retirement incentive or not, and deal with it year to year that way. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Silkwood. Anyone else? All right, seeing none, all in favor, Mr. Gregory, did you have something?
Well, again, I don't see this as a great money issue. I think it's for a very few situations. It's not for if they decide to move on and retire, and they have that right, and they would not get anything extra. But if they were, by the situations we've been in the last couple of years about the budgets, but evidently I'm the only one that feels this way.
Is there anyone else?
In short, budget, there's no change in previous year, right?
Correct, to be the same exact package we provided the previous 2 years.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? All right, we'll show Ms. Silkwood voting no. Motion carries. Next, item B. Policy, Mr. Brewer.
Might I suggest B, C, D, E, and F are all things these are just second reading, things that we've voted once on, and this is just clearing those things up just to get the final vote. Could I make a motion? We just group those together and make one final swoop on B through F?
All right, I have a motion to group items B through F.
Second that.
Second by Mr. Hale. Any discussion on the motion to group? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Let me read those for the record. Item B, discussion of policy JBCCA, assignment to schools. Item C, discussion and or action regarding policy GAL, salary deductions. Item D, discussion and or action regarding policy GBE, assignment. Item E, discussion and or action regarding policy GBK, suspension and dismissal of personnel. And item F, discussion and or action regarding policy GBNA, dismissal of certified employees. All right, we have a motion and a second. Mr. Hale?
Just one quick question. I did notice here on item B, it says discussion of policy JBCCA. It doesn't say discussion or action. Does that make any difference on our vote and grouping?
it's, it does not make a difference if
Okay.
we take a vote on it.
Just different from the other one, so I just
Yeah.
want to make sure.
Yeah, that was just a typo error. All right, any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Move on to item G, discussion and or action regarding clarification of board motion regarding funding source for Station Camp High School auditorium seats. I believe, Mr. Hale, you were the one that made this original motion, but unfortunately, Mr. Johnson can't seem to find it in our minutes, so.
If I could, I'll make a motion that we, and this board has already voted, the Station Camp High School, if you recall, had to replace some hinges down there, and we voted to take half of the funds out of general purpose capital outlay funds that we set aside last year. This board approved that, and I think we actually came back and maybe even approved it again. So we've looked at it a couple of times, and I think this is just clarifying that. So with that, I'll make a motion that 50% of the funds come from maintenance and 50% of the funds come from capital outlay of the board's budget, so that Station Camp students won't have to pay for the repair of the hinges on the auditorium seats.
All right, I have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Mr. Wise. Any discussion?
What was the amount of that? What was the amount of money?
It's right at 24,000
Total.
total. It's already been paid, Mr. Gregory, and the work done. So we're just trying to reaffirm the motion.
This is just a clarification, so Mr. Johnson can find it in the minutes. If we
This
all
is a
want to turn and
clarification,
wave
yes.
at the camera or give him some
Yeah, and
type of
say it
indicator,
clearly.
it's at this
I've
point in
watched,
the meeting.
for the record, I have watched 3 different board meetings and cannot find it, so that is why it's on there.
So we can all just wave at the camera. He'll know when he's reviewing this DVD, this would be the place where this took place. So, all right. All right, I have a motion, a second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? All right, next item is new business. Item A, discussion of district calendar proposal. Dr. Phillips?
Yes, we brought this forward, and then we talked about it at the study session. We had one change on the calendar that I'm recommending, and Ms. Brown went into great detail with that at the study session. We have moved the beginning day that previously at the study session, I made comments about this, if you remember, that I would like to change the first day of school to that Monday. Is that correct, Ms. Brown? And that's the calendar that you see as the, I suppose it's attached as option 1. That's the calendar that's a traditional calendar, very similar to what we have now in our schools with the exception of Union. And I am proposing that we continue with that. We had a lot of discussion at the study session, and some of you and I have talked individually. Right now, I feel like this is the best option for us. As is probably you already know, and it's been mentioned this evening, the evaluation system, some other things within our system, we have quite a bit of stress. I don't think we need to implore a new schedule in trying to manage that change now. I would like to have more time within my staff to plan. I especially want to make sure that we have an instructional focus when we do make a change. And that's going to require quite an extensive amount of work internally with our staff to be able to do some intercession programs and things during those week of those fall and spring. So I just ask that you approve the calendar option 1, which was brought forward by the calendar committee, which is very similar to what we run now.
Make a motion to approve priority number 1.
Second that.
I have a motion by Mr. Gregory, a second by Ms. Cox. Any discussion? Mr. Wise?
If I might suggest within the motion that we also have the wording to also include Union University, Union Elementary remaining on their current calendar.
All right, who made the motion? Mr. Gregory, are you willing to just incorporate that into your motion?
I am.
Second, Ms. Cox, is that all right? All right. Is that all right, Mr. Wise? All right, Mr. Hale?
Mr. Chairman, not to be too technical about it, but we probably should give Ms. Brown and the director some leeway, because they can get pretty close to last year's calendar, but it won't be exact because of just the change in days. So I know that's understood, but just want to make sure clear that that's available to you.
All right, any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Mr. Duncan voting no? All right, Mr. Duncan voting no, motion carries. Next, item B, discussion and or action regarding the high school curriculum guide. Is there a motion by Mr. Wise? Is there a second? second by Mr. Duncan. Any discussion? Ms. Cox?
And this is probably a point of study session, but I know that one of the conferences I went to, or study sessions that I went to during the convention this weekend, was about AP courses and how to increase the amount of AP courses that you offer in your school district. And I was happy to know that we weren't one of the bottom in terms of AP courses. We were actually kind of in the middle in terms of the amount of AP courses that we offer at our school district. But I would like to be one of the top in the state. Williamson County, there were a couple of other counties that offer about 30% courses in terms of AP courses. And so I would like to see us at a future study session. I know that I've talked with Dr. Phillips about this, looking at incorporating or increasing the amount of AP courses that we offer at our high schools. I know that that was something that at our Learn and Listen tour that was completely reiterated by all of our parents and something that they would like to see. I know that one of the things that the moderator at the session talked about was the fact that just introducing students to AP courses actually, and the rigor of that curriculum, increases student test scores, even if they weren't necessarily the best student. A C student just being introduced to an AP course actually increases test scores. So I do think that would be important for us to look at, and the reason why I'm talking about it right here is that maybe looking at next year's curriculum, I'm obviously going to approve this year's curriculum, but maybe looking at next year's curriculum, looking at increasing the amount of AP courses that we offer for our students. That's just something I would like to kind of bring up and talk about.
All right, thank you, Ms. Cox. Anyone else? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Next item on our agenda, discussion and or action regarding an amendment to the general purpose budget. Is there a motion? Motion by Mr. Duncan. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Gregory. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Next item on our agenda, item D, discussion and or action regarding amendments to the federal projects budget. Is there a motion? Motion by Ms. Cox. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Hale. Any discussion?
One item.
Mr. Hale?
At our next meeting, if those documents could be turned 90 degrees counterclockwise, we'll be able to read them from the computer screen.
You're supposed to just
Yeah.
turn the monitor.
Okay.
Any further comments or observations? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Next item, discussion of study session items. Mr. Wise.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would like for us to place policy EEA on January's study session. That policy concerns nutrition and charges and so forth and so on, and how we handle that within our system. I think that policy originated in 1992 and has not been revised since then, and times have changed. I would like for Dr. Phillips to take a very thorough look into all aspects of nutrition department. I have had some concerns brought to me. I've not gone out and searched for them, but I've had them brought to me over the past few weeks. And I guess to summarize it, what I would like in this study between now and January study session, and this fact-finding mission, if you will, is to evaluate the impact on nutrition employees, and first and foremost, any and all activities, policies, or whatever that has or may have a negative impact on children. It just bothers me to no end when we make, for whatever reason, a child has to stand out in a negative way. So I would like for this policy and those concerns to be looked at over the next few weeks.
All right, thank you, Mr. Wise. Any other study session items? Mr. Johnson?
Mr. Wise brought up an important thing for everyone to note. We do not have a study session in December. We will have the December regular meeting on December 6th. So just everybody keep that in mind. That was something you voted on when you adopted a calendar because we felt like with everybody being so busy during December, we want to go ahead and get the meeting out of the way.
All right,
So just everybody keep that in mind.
thank you, Mr. Johnson. Any other study session items? Mr. Hale?
Mr. Chairman, I'll be adding to the study session use of cell phones in schools again. We've had some pretty good response since we approved that policy last year. I'd like to take another look at it, and I'll be adding that to the study session.
All right, thank you, Mr. Hale. Mr. Brown?
I think we need to put on study session. I've brought this subject up time and time again about trips, field trips, and the thing's getting to the place where the cost of fuel costs, the usage of buses, and all this extra costs involved, and this has nothing to do with trying to hammer back at students, those that are going on special reward and award trips, but it has to do with safety, has to do with increased costs and so on of these trips, and we need to discuss that further, I think, and probably make some amendments in that business.
All right, thank you, Mr. Brown. Anyone else? All right, as always, if anyone has anything else they think of at a later time, just email Mr. Johnson. We'll get it on the agenda. We've already taken care of item 9, matters involving council, unless Mr. Fuqua, you have anything else. Next, item 10, communications from board members. Oh, I'm sorry, we did skip number 8. Mr. Hale, Facilities and Maintenance Committee report, item A, release of retainage for Station Camp Elementary.
Station Camp Elementary has completed. The architect and engineer recommended that we release the remaining funds. Facilities and Maintenance Committee recommends this as well. So with that, I'll make a motion to approve release of the final retainage at Station Camp Elementary.
All right, I have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Cox. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Will show motion carries. Now we're down to comments from board members. Are there any comments? Ms. Cox?
Yes, I just wanted to take a moment to thank all the schools that participated in the Red Ribbon Week. We had another outstanding group of 21 schools, I believe. Is that what we saw, Dr. Phillips, that day? We had a whirlwind tour of about 21 schools. Station Camp Elementary. No, wait, Station Camp, is that right? Okay, I had to remember because we saw so many that day. Station Camp Elementary took first prize, grand prize, and we had some other outstanding schools, HB Williams, North Sumner. We had White House Middle School capturing the middle school division, and we had Portland High School capturing the high school division. So anyways, we had some just great schools, outstanding counselors, just doing wonderful jobs with our students, getting them awareness about drug and alcohol use. That was just really wonderful. And then I also want to thank Rucker Stewart for putting on another wonderful Veterans Day. Andrew Turner does a great job there introducing the students to that event. And then lastly, I just want to thank all the board members that participated in convention and being a delegate for Ms. Silkwood and Mr. Long, Mr. Hale, Mr. Gregory and Mr. Brown coming down there, and Mr. Daniels, and everybody. I just want to thank everybody for participation and being a delegate. I know we talked about some very important things. One thing I do want to tell the constituents about, and that will be a very hot topic this year, is elected versus appointed superintendents. They did say that they do have enough votes in the legislature this year to bring that about, and I hope that you will let your legislators know, Representative Maggart, Representative Gordon, and Senator Roberts, that that's something that we do not support as a board. We obviously did a good job, I feel like, doing an appointed superintendent, and we do not want to go back to the 1% of states that go back to elected superintendents. We feel like that's not the way that we need to go as a state. So I hope that you will let your representatives know that that's not something that we would like to go to. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Ms. Cox. Anyone else? Mr. Gregory?
Yes, Portland Education Foundation dinner was about 2 weeks ago. Great event. Appreciate Dr. Phillips buying a ticket. He didn't go, but appreciate him buying a ticket. And Miss Brown, how many grants were in that package? I saw them, but I didn't count them. Several grants on our agenda tonight that we passed were from the money from that Education Foundation. And it is a very good event.
Thank you, Mr. Gregory. Anyone else? Ms. Silkwood?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, I'd just like to make mention that at the TSBA convention yesterday, I had the opportunity to attend the Putnam County Strategic Compensation Initiative. Is essentially what they're calling it, and it's a system in which Putnam County is now paying their teachers more when they lead PD, when they mentor other teachers, and that's something I'd like to look at for us as we go down the road and in the future. So I'd like to share more information about that, in the upcoming months with the board. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? I will say congratulations. Sumner County still currently has 3 teams in the state playoffs. One of those teams will be eliminated this Friday night when Hendersonville and Beach take on one another. Well, somebody's got to lose that game. And then White House is continuing on to the next round as well. So things are going well on that front. I too attended the School Board Association over the weekend and had some very informative sessions down there. I encourage any of you that weren't able to attend this year to try and fit that into your calendar for next year. All right, is there anything further?
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Brown?
As far as Westport and Portland, District 11 rather, we had a nice parade up there, and we had 2 World War II veterans, the only 2 living that we can find up there, and they were in the parade. I was quite pleased to see the community and all come out for that. Moreover, I'm pleased the schools that I go around and see, those guys like Terry up there at North Summer, they take what's given to them and they make it work, folks. I'm proud of those type guys. You don't hear a lot of complaining, a lot of, back and forth, but they just take the things that's issued to them and they make them work. And I'm pleased with those people up there. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Brown. Anyone else? All right, last item on our agenda. Dr. Phillips, you have anything for us?
Just a couple of things real quick. I think all of you have been invited to the groundbreaking ceremony down at Station Camp High School. We're excited about that. They're mobilizing equipment. Jennifer Brown and her staff did a great job getting that out. That's November 30th at 1:30. So hope all of you can make that. The only other thing I have, and I think Ms. Brown has some pages to hand out to you, but we are going to, she and her staff and Linda Oliver have coordinated for us to have some model technology, classroom technology demonstrations here at the central office. We'll have the Promethean active bus out front, and then we will have smart technology set up in this boardroom, and then I think maybe use one of our conference rooms. So we're going to try to encourage a lot of our elected officials to come and to see what a modern classroom with up-to-date technology enables our teachers to do from an instructional standpoint. It's really powerful, and so I would ask if you can, by any stretch, I know you're all super busy, if you could put that on your calendar and just come through that day. I think you'll really enjoy it. That's it, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Phillips. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes all the business on our agenda. We stand adjourned.